Hi, you guys. Today is September 8th. It's periods 1, 3, and 5 today. We're going to start lesson 1.2, day 1. So take out your Chromebook, comp book, and pencils. Make sure you always have those. And you're going to need a pen today because we're going to grade our homework from last Tuesday. So what you're going to do in your comp book today is you're going to copy this triangle, and you're going to write an equation, x plus 10 plus x plus 5 plus x equals 180 degrees. Remember that a triangle always adds up to 180 degrees. You're going to solve it, and then when you get x equals 55, you're going to figure out, find all angle measurements. So for angle 1, I called up here in the top right, which is x plus 10. I replaced the x with 55, and then I added 10 to it, and I got 65 degrees. Angle 1 is 65 degrees. Angle 2, x plus 5, here's your 2. 55 plus 5 is 60, and angle 3 is just x. So that's just 55 degrees. So your three angle measurements are 65, 60, and 55. If you add those three up, you'll get 180. What I want you guys to do here is to, in your comp book, I want you to copy these two triangles and do the exact same thing. Use slide 1 as your reference. Here on slide 3, we're going to be getting into the properties of equalities. That's what these are called, properties of equalities. And what you're going to do is you're going to learn the steps to solving equations using the properties of equalities. First thing you should do is use the distributive property if you see parentheses. Only if you see parentheses will you be using distributive property. You will combine like terms, and I'm abbreviating them, DP, distributive property, CLT, combine like terms. Number 3 is going to be choose either addition or subtraction, and it will get you down to using multiplication or division. Once you do multiplication or division, you should come to the solution. So now on this next slide, on slide 4, you're going to see these properties of equalities. So I have 8 minus 3x equals 17. So I wrote it down on my whiteboard. 8 minus 3x equals 17. First thing I want to do is I don't see parentheses, so I can't distribute. I don't see any like terms, so I got to go to the addition or subtraction. So I see that I have a positive 8. What's the opposite of positive 8? Negative 8. So I'm going to take minus 8 underneath this 8 so that these two zero out, and I got to put negative 8 under 17. So now I'm left with negative 3x equals 9. Then I see that I have multiplication here, 3 times x. Opposite of multiplication is division. I use a fraction line to represent division, and I'm going to divide negative 3 to both sides. The reason I'm taking negative 3 is because I want it to become a positive 1. The rule for integers is a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So x equals negative 3. Over here on number 2, I did the same thing. I rewrote the equation 5a minus 6 minus 2a equals 12. So here I look, I can't use distributive property, so now I'm going to combine like terms. I have a 5a and I have a negative 2a. You could also read it as 5a minus 2a. When you do that, you should get 3a. Minus 6, I brought down the negative 6 equals 12. Now I'm going to go to the next property, which is addition or subtraction. Well, I have a negative 6. Opposite of negative 6 is a positive 6. So I'm going to zero these two 6's out by putting positive 6 on both sides. So the 6's disappear and I'm left with 3a equals 18. 12 plus 6 is 18. Now I see I have multiplication again. 3 times a. Opposite of multiply is divide. So I'm going to divide 3 to both sides. Notice how I'm keeping it the same sign. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Or you could just say a equals 6. Off to the side, I wrote down which properties I'm using. Same thing as number 1. All right, let's move on. Here are a couple more examples that you can use as references. Just like I did, I'm starting with, can I use distributive property on number 3? There are no parentheses, so no. So if you notice off to the side, I started with the second one, which is combining like terms. I combined the negative 4 and the negative 8 because they both contain an n. negative 12n. Now I'm going to use a subtraction property because that's a positive 17. Opposite of positive 17 is a negative 17. So I'm putting it on both sides. Subtraction property, simplify. Here I got negative 12 times n. What's the opposite of multiply? Divide. Division property of equalities to get you to your solution. Number 4, I see parentheses, so I have to use distributive property. I'm going to take the negative 3 and I'm going to multiply it times x. So I put it right here. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. Then I have to distribute the negative 3 to the positive 2. Negative 3 times 2 is a negative 6. So I wrote it right here. I just brought down the 5x equals negative 9. So here I use distributive property. Next, I could combine like terms. I have a negative 3x and I have a positive 5x. Well, the signs are different. Remember, you have to subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. So you have 2x minus 6. Negative 6 says you better use the opposite property, which is addition property. So you could zero them out. So negative 6 and a positive 6 zero out, but what you do to one side, you do to the other. So you're left with 2x equals, do the math, negative 6 plus 6 is negative 3. Negative 9 plus 6 is negative 3. Last step is 2x, 2 times x, 2 times x, so use division property, divide by 2, 2. X equals negative 3 over 2, or you could simplify it to negative 1.5. It's up to you. So now I've given you practice. Now what you're going to do on a sheet of paper is I want you on a lined piece of paper to do numbers 1 through 7. I want you to turn those in through Google Classroom. And I'll even write it over here on the side because I noticed I didn't write submit these your work on Google Classroom, so do that. Then next, I want you to grade your homework from last Tuesday. You're going to grade your homework from last Tuesday. It was homework 1.1, practice A, numbers 1 through 9. And then tonight, this is what you're going to do for the remainder of the classes. You're just going to have to do Google Classroom. It's in Google Classroom, book page 14, numbers 6 through 14. So again, you have an in-class assignment. I want that submitted today. And then you're going to have a homework assignment. Google Classroom, book page 14, 6 through 14. Lastly, don't forget your exit ticket and submit it in your daily attendance and agenda. I will put the link here so to save you a step. I hope this was helpful. Have a good day, you guys. I'll see you tomorrow.